Artist Journal, September 9th, 2022. Berlin, my name is Adrian Pocobelli, your artist reporter, and ladies and gentlemen, we have hit over 100 subscribers. So that is, the first word that comes to my mind, actually. I was about to say, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. I think I was at about 38, maybe, for about 10 years there, or accumulating 38 subscribers over 10 years. Friends, whatever, you do the one-off little video. I think a friend interviewed me 4 years ago, that sort of stuff. So I had 38. And so it's been about 3 weeks. I think I started about August, maybe 11th. And so it's been almost 4. I think, but maybe 3. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, the retweets, the comments. We're going to get to the comments today. We're getting great comments from, the top people in the space, or some of the top people. So that's really exciting. And so anyway, just a big heartfelt thank you from over here. It's a lot of fun and it's great. I was thinking to myself, we kind of have 3 major debates that are starting to brew here, as you're going to see in the comments. The first is a little dormant right now, which is this phone art and mobile art or finger art or whatever we're going to call that. And I'm kind of I'm letting that percolate. We've kind of opened that idea up. And what is this whole phone art thing? How is it different? What I'm loosely calling phone art for now, just for illustrative purposes. How is that different from the iPad and the laptop and all this stuff? Because I do think, as Rat Cloaksy has also pointed out, that there's something about it that is distinct. So it's fun to kind of have that debate going on, and that one's just kind of on the shelf for right now, or I'm letting it percolate until we return to it. There is the debate on AI, or the conversation, the discussion, really. Because I think a lot of us are actually pretty agreed on most of the comments. We're going to see in the comments, strange thing. I think that's we'll see in a second, left a few comments, which is great. So he is back, and he has said he is a he. So he is back, and I tell you, he's top 5 on object there. And we have Rat Cloaksy weighing in on the AI debate as well. So that's fabulous. And then the third debate, which we haven't really touched here, but which is one of the bigger debates on NFTs, and which is in a comment that we're going to see, is on this whole physical work as NFTs. And does it make sense? And how does it make sense? And another, issue with no real clear answers. It's not a black or white, physical NFTs are good or physical NFTs are bad. There are some issues to unpack before we at least get to some kind of conclusion like that. So anyways, welcome back. So Friday, so good morning. And I saw a couple of works on the Queen. Of course, the Queen passed away yesterday. And I saw a couple of works on the Queen. And to me, that was another great discussion piece. We have this great one here by Morlakos, a great one. Love the color. I've used these colors actually in another piece. I love these colors. Let me quickly show you. I don't want to be self-indulgent with showing my art, so I tried to strike this balance, but the colors are almost exactly, so here, and I just love these colors together, this kind of purple and neon orange, I guess you'd call that. So this is by Morlakos, The Queen is Dead. That is the headline, isn't it? That is the headline. So, and what's interesting about the piece is I didn't even notice it before I put this on my screen, but then I noticed it just as I was about to hit record here, is there is a cigarette with interesting, kind of like a blue-green, what do you call that again, where the fire is, where it's lit. Can't remember the name of that. And a bat. Okay, so there's commentary here. So we have one more, and this kind of brings up by Minta, and this brings up just a really important theme for me, which is this idea of an art of the present. This is a J.G. Ballard concept. And so let's just look at Minta's piece here. The day I met the Queen Elizabeth II. Not sure if this is real or not. Today I want to remember this special day when I met the Queen and I had the chance to give her flowers. Rest in peace, Elizabeth. Could be real, could be not. And maybe it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I'd say it's a 50-50 on whether this is real or not, a real, event. Maybe I should just believe her. So a nice portrait of the Queen. So with the Minta character or Minta in there. So again, an art of the present is where that's kind of what excited me. And, I often call myself at the start of this show an artist reporter. And you know what? So that's a Rauschenberg term. And I thought I saw it on this video here. And I highly recommend these interviews. I watched these like 10 years ago when I was living in Toronto. So I was sure that on this video, Inside New York's Art World, that this reporter here had asked Rauschenberg about his concept of the artist reporter, and I couldn't find it. So then I was looking, was it another interview? I do remember like a white pants. So like, anyway, I haven't listened to the whole thing start to finish, but that's where I got introduced to this concept. And you do a search, there's almost no information on the internet. And again, this brings up a profound issue. Not everything makes it onto the internet. Not everything made it onto the internet. Like, we assume that basically the internet has got everything. It actually doesn't. Like, we were looking for Max Ernst's Beyond Painting. You can probably get it's a manifesto that he wrote. This is like university library type stuff. Like when I was studying way back when, Beyond Painting. Okay, Beyond Painting and Other Writings. So it exists, but you see like used, okay, and then there's a show called Beyond Painting, but you see, okay, archive.org. It looks like, okay, this is an important book, everybody. If this is, but you see Robert Motherwell, so maybe, anyway, hopefully somewhere in there, yeah, translated by Dorothy Tanning. Anyway, just a quick aside, so I found this on the Artist Reporter. Again, there's almost no information, but some academic, let's just look in an essay, Metamorphosizing Dante, said, here it is, Rauschenberg referred to himself as an artist reporter. Let me see if you can see that. And to his work as journalistic. The imagery and the material and the meanings of the paintings, he said in an interview, would be not an illustration of my will, but more like an unbiased documentation of my observations. I had to try consciously to do a work that would imply the kind of richness and complexity I saw around me. Items discarded on the street offered him content he wanted for his combine. So again, this idea of using things from our world. And this is a Ballard concept as well. So this is kind of what I'm getting at because this is a dream also of mine of doing a real world response to the news. Because I think this is kind of like the ultimate subversion, to be blunt about it. It's the ultimate subversion. What do we take as, what is the story of our lives as a group, as socially? And it's the news. Okay? And again, not to be self-indulgent here, this is not the point. The point is here we go. The point is, yeah, so this is what I was trying to do in this early series here, The Secret History of World War III, a real-time response to the global news narrative using screenshots, sampled paintings, and photos of brushstrokes. Hello, remember the Warhol Goethe thing? So these are brushstrokes that I would make at home, take a picture of, and then blow up and play with digitally, sometimes stretch out, etc. This is all just kind of, these are like, I almost want to call them preliminary. I have some, I'm not going to take us. On Super Rare, I also have screenshots. They're kind of, it was during the crypto bull run, so I was kind of celebrating that because that was an art of the present. And that's kind of where I'm going with this episode here. And let me just see. I think I brought up a Ballard quote. Here it is. So J.G. Ballard, who is very important. And I just want to get this quote that someone, again, I have to go to these like obscure places to find these quotes for you. So I hope you're enjoying this. Vermilion Sands, which is a short story collection by J.G. Ballard, isn't set in the future at all, but in a kind of visionary present. A description that fits the stories in this book and almost everything else I have written. So I'm kind of back to here. An art of the present. Okay, and so that's just what I wanted to highlight here. Because it's a very intoxicating and exciting idea. An art of the present, a real-time response to the global news narrative. To me, this starts to get very subversive once it starts to get more and more sophisticated. Again, what I was working on is preliminary, okay? But if you can start to do that, again, this idea of the artist reporter using the things around them to remix and to redo and to transform and represent to the world in real time, like, what power does that give artists all of a sudden? If all of a sudden you start getting what you might call creative interpretations of the news. So anyway, very speculative and deep. We're going to come back to, actually, let's take a quick look at these. A couple of quick works here by mech.txt. Just a really nice pixel work. Probably picked this up. I think it goes with his other work, with mech.txt's other work really nicely. I believe out of Indonesia, if I remember correctly. Doesn't say. It's always nice if you know where people are based. It just gives us something to grab onto here. The person who did this, so we've seen mech.txt before. So I thought this kind of complemented it well, so I'll probably pick this up just for fun. You might notice my buying has slowed down dramatically in the last few days, because it must. And I thought this was just an interesting work by Ed Marola, where he's using, here I'll reload, where he's using Unity in VR, okay? And he's basically turning it into a art piece. And I thought this was, again, sort of like our comic book that was animated. This is just something to note. Like, this is what people are working on. It's kind of like being inside an Ed Marola piece. There's some music. So just an atmosphere. So, I'm not huge on the VR stuff, but I find this interesting. Okay? And especially when you start putting that kind of retro pixelation into it, yeah, it looks great. So let's go to our comments here. First of all, we got a few, okay? Here, first, Rat Cloaksy left a comment, which on AI, so we'll get his take, and this is awesome. I totally appreciate the comments, everyone. So, no Twitter post is enough to describe Myth and Bazea. I think that's 3A, 5A, 1A, I think. The time-honored art I'm a fan of. As for AI, I'm not a big fan. There are a few names I really like. But this guy, Strange Thing, is so impressive that it's probably one of the best things that's appeared in NFT recently. And yeah, as I was saying in a previous episode, like the reason I'm talking about it is because it's like, it merits discussion. It's like, what is going on over here? And whatever the case is, and wherever this whole discussion ends up, whatever conclusions we might come to, I keep saying this, it's probably the most significant thing that's happening in the visual arts right now. Like, we have to, like, how can we not say that? Like, what else is going on that we have to go, oh, this is kind of more significant right now? This is kind of like turning the, or like, there's all sorts of questions are being opened here. So thank you for the comment, Rat Cloaksy, as ever. And we got another comment from the artist, Strange Thing. So I'll go through this quickly because it was very interesting as well. Hey bro, this might take a few tweets, haha. I'm a male, so he is all good, okay, established. So thank you for using my work as a basis for discussion, which I think all great art creates. There is no animosity from previous comments made. I appreciate your own journey learning and want to understand the artist and art of AI and wanting to be able to marry the two, but still have reservations on how that would be for you. So yeah, I mean, we're all trying to figure this out. Basically, my interpretation of this is I'm trying to figure out what this AI thing means and how it relates to me being an artist. And I think as we all are, right? And I haven't, and again, I plan on using the tools very soon here. But I haven't yet. So that's another kind of, and it's kind of fun for me to bring in because we'll see whatever prejudices I might have beforehand. And maybe after using it, I go, you know what? All those thoughts I had about XYZ actually turned out to be wrong. So let's see. Let's go back. There is small edits via Photoshop and DALL-E. To me, dragging a box over a face and pixelating the face is just a tool, as is DALL-E to me. Yeah, and I see AI as a tool. Exactly. And yeah, as a tool that can be worked with and incorporated into a process is sort of how I see AI working for me. That's why I was a big fan of the edit. And the skepticism, I would say remains on the speed in which it can be made, and this idea that, oh, I can make like 100 of these a day, right? And then all of a sudden, then should we as art people want something more from our AI art, if it's that easy? And I mean, Strange Thing has made a lot of art. I mean, let's just quickly, if I can, here we go. And Strange Thing, again, I appreciate the comments. We're top people in the space here. Like, look at Strange, Wrong Era Collection. He's number 5 here. So, and he's leaving his, thoughtful comments on yesterday's show. So this is on this, 100 subscribers later here, 101, 102, whatever we're at. It's a very nice thing to hear. So let's continue here. Keep this short. Although it happens to be called AI, I am still trying to create the vision of the piece the AI still hasn't mastered. Okay, as our brains are not linked yet. Haha. As for the comment Minta Artist presented, which we went into yesterday about talent, which was kind of ambiguous, what we mean by talent, presented to you in your reply being that talented may not be needed, etc., I feel could be looked at with having talent of knowing art history and choosing eras or artists in prompts is a talent in itself. There are many, okay, let's stop right there. Exactly. I don't disagree with this at all. Like, in a sense, is this Duchamp's fountain? Okay, is this Marcel Duchamp's fountain? Where art is a decision, a decision, not even several good decisions, as I was sort of suggesting last time. I mean, you could say calling it art makes it art, or putting the fountain, putting an interesting title on it because it's not a fountain. I think you'd call it a latrine. Let me just go here. Let's go with Duchamp, because I think actually Duchamp plays actually kind of a central role in this, because it kind of, like this is turned on its side. Interestingly, like we don't always think about that, but there is a transformation going on here, and it has been written on. I think it's hilarious that we're talking about, I guess we were going to end up at Duchamp's fountain sooner or later anyway. It probably means we're on the right track here. Yeah, is art simply, a couple of decisions and I think by no talent is required, I think what Ernst was saying, if I can ever find that in Beyond Painting, I think it's kind of like this. Like, you don't need to be some brilliant technical practitioner in order to be a great artist. This is the thing. And I think that is what Strange Thing is getting at here, which I totally agree. Like, to me, this is just like foundational for modern art. It's like, ideas do matter. We could argue that mentality of ideas matter has the pendulum on that swung from that being a crazy idea to, where all of a sudden in Berlin, often if you go to art shows, it's like some idea that, and it's kind of swung the opposite direction where it's all just ideas and nobody really cares about the art and everybody's just having wine. Sometimes that, drinking wine and talking together and nobody cares about the art. So let's go back to Strange Thing. Strange Thing's thoughtful comments. Okay, so as for the comment Minta Artist presented to you about art being a good decision, and your reply being that talented may not be needed, etc., I feel it could be looked at having talent of knowing art history and choosing era or artists in prompts is a talent in itself. And I agree. And I was thinking, well, is that just taste? Is taste a talent? Well, I was thinking you could have a talented curator. And if a curator is talented, that curator probably also has good taste, but maybe also knows how to put things together. So yeah, it is a talent. It's not just taste. And I agree. Like, there is a talent, because what are you choosing? As a news editor, you're choosing things, and that some news editors are definitely better than others, as we all know, right? And there are many talented historians of art such as yourself. Now, I am not an art historian, by the way. I'm an artist that talks about art. And as a result, we're bringing up Duchamp and Ernst and providing context, okay? Because I've taken Art History 101. I might think I know more than some people with PhDs in art history, but I don't call myself an art. I wouldn't dare, call myself a art historian. Let's put it that way. I would never present myself as such. I'm an artist that's familiar with the tradition. And let me just tell you, the more, there is nothing that eliminates class more than education. Because if you're very well kind of read in the tradition of, say, art and the classics and everything, there's nothing that levels a playing field more. Someone can have billions of dollars, but you're kind of on the same level. And, education is the great leveler. Okay, back to our talk here. So there are many talented historians of art such as yourself, which all helps bring in the overall feel and concept of what the vision of the artist is. Yeah, I'm just talking about the art. Okay, I'm just commenting because I think it's new, and I think we should all just have an open discussion about this, which is great, and I'm loving this, by the way, and thank you for the comments. Hope this helps you, friend, and like I say, nothing but love from me, man. Really appreciate you and what you're doing, and I feel the same way. It's very important that we can all discuss these ideas, and that, just as Strange Thing is saying, that basically nobody is taking this personally. And Strange Thing is doing fabulously. Okay, so there's nothing, and yeah, so it's all good. over here, and he knows that I know, and I know that he knows that everything is good. Okay, and I appreciate the comments. So, yeah, I mean, I think the thrust here is there's something, we shouldn't dismiss the idea that choosing ideas that we put into the AI is, it's not negligible, I think is the takeaway. And I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I think that's actually what Minta was saying. So I think we're actually kind of agreeing on the same thing here. And it's kind of like, I think Duchamp's fountain helps us kind of bolster our argument. Now, the question remains, though, let's say it's making brilliant art and it is just like I put out the idea. Now, he's saying, Strange Thing is saying he edits it and that he basically has an idea of what he's going for. And DALL-E gives him something and then he further pushes it to achieve that idea. So to me, that makes it more interesting as well, because we've all seen a lot of AI art, and you could get a 7-year-old doing the AI art thing and probably get some interesting results. I need to use it though. So anyway, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you to everybody for everything, sharing, tweeting, liking, subscribing, all of it. As we cross what are we at? Let's just look at our subscribers here. We're at 102 subscribers. So I just wanted to thank you. Look, 100 views on yesterday's video. And I thank you for the comments. And I hope we can all keep this debate going. But yeah, I thought Duchamp's fountain was kind of a nice addition for us. And this idea I wanted to discuss, and another thing to open up, which is this art of the present. And you know what? I almost forgot this last comment here. One quick thing. Just one more thing. Remember we were talking about these works? And I was wondering if they were made in Procreate or not, and that I, with my collector hat on, would like to know, because for me, they're more collectible as digital. And so Jovan76 left a comment saying she is using pencil on paper and then scanning it to create an NFT. How does that change your opinion of the work on the work of Del Conte Draws, which is the name of the artist? And then she continues, or Jovan76 continues, for me, it doesn't change that much that it's not digital first. Essentially, the NFT space is a platform or medium for this work to be seen, and ultimately, it's about the work. Is it good or not? And for me, there is something there. So there's a lot in there, actually. First of all, it doesn't change my opinion of the work itself. Okay? This NFT business, this is kind of like it doesn't change whether this is a good composition, whether the color, maybe if I saw it in real life versus the digital, since it is, according to Jovan76, I might be more impressed by the physical because it's probably more tactile and it's got all the qualities of a physical. It probably is kind of a bit more special than the image, than the JPEG version. So first of all, it doesn't change the art itself. Let's say, this is what I'm suggesting, that it's not an NFT. However, as a collector, I don't have much interest in a photo of a physical work, because to me, it's a photo of a physical work. It's actually, let's put it this way, it's not the work. It's not the work. With a digital, I can say that is the work. If I own an edition of 10, I could say I own 1 of 10 of the work. Whereas if we're taking pictures of artwork and then creating NFTs out of it, then I go, that is not the work. It's a picture of the work. And to me, that's almost worthless as a collector. That's at least my bias. And I think a lot of people have that bias. Now, there is a significant exception to this, Damien Hirst. Remember the currency? Okay. Like, there was a whole experiment on this done by Damien Hirst. Let's see. Where he made a bunch of physical paintings about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And he took pictures of them. These are the physical paintings here, right? And he took pictures of them and then offered to the holders, if they burn the NFT, he'll send the original physical one, or they can keep the NFT, which is a picture of a physical work. And a lot of people kept the NFT. I have a feeling a lot of people forgot that they even own this, probably, or who knows. So how many are left here? There's 1.8 thousand, so 1,800 items. So probably, I think a lot of people took the physical. And once I saw on Twitter in July that you could get a physical Damien Hirst, I was like, oh, how much are these going for? Because I want to buy the NFT, so I get a physical Damien Hirst in the mail, because wouldn't that be great? I'm not even a big Damien Hirst fan, but wow, I'd be owning a physical Damien Hirst. That was my sort of thought process. And then I thought, like, who needs, like, again, this is a photo of a painting. So that's kind of my bias there, okay? And I think a lot of people share it, though, because it's really for digital art, this whole NFT thing. But again, like some of that work I was showing you at the start of the program from the Secret History of World War III, I am taking pictures of brushstrokes, but it's in a work that is inherently digital. It is a digital file. So it doesn't mean we can't take samples and incorporate that into a digital work. And to me, it's still completely a digital work. But if we are taking, it's sort of like James Brown. Like we can take a sample of a loop from James Brown and put it into a techno track or a hip hop track, and it's still techno and hip hop. But if we take a full song, or we take a full song of a symphony or of a James Brown track, that's not techno and hip hop. That's just a James Brown track, if you follow me. So that's kind of what a full scan to me is. So to me, and amazing artist, but as NFTs, it makes it slightly less collectible for me. But other people obviously have different opinions. Now, just finally, I kind of disagree with this. And essentially, the NFT space is a platform or medium for this work to be seen. I don't think I don't agree. I don't think it's just a promotional platform. I think the NFT space, to me, what makes it interesting is it's a platform for digital art to be bought and sold, to be created, bought, and sold. And ultimately, it's about, so essentially the NFT space is a platform or medium for this work to be seen, and ultimately it's about the work, is it good or not? Yeah, like I disagree. I think the collectability of an NFT depends on, for me, on whether it's natively digitally made, okay? Now, it's a great work of art. As I was saying at the beginning of our discussion on this, it doesn't change that this is the work of art itself. That is almost irrelevant. It's more to do with the collectability. As I put in my comment, you could reverse the idea where if we were to make physical copies of NFTs, are they as collectible as the NFT? Maybe, but probably not. It's sort of like if I started printing out NFTs of my work and then selling it, maybe, but not really. Like when we'll discuss it another time. This episode's going long because I do physical versions, but they're screen printed, like they are inherently necessary, that the way that they're made is in a whole process that is separate, that it grows out of the digital process. So we can all discuss that more in depth another time, because this video is going long. But yeah, I just wanted to, say thank you to Jovan76, because I think it brings up another interesting debate of many that we've had here. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.